Miss Kieran's team. Welcome to the third lesson all about fractions. Today our one-star challengers will be able to know by the end of this lesson that halves must be equal. So you can't have them where they're different shapes and sizes, they have to be the same. Our two-star challengers will be able to show half and quarter with pictures, symbols and words. And our three-star challengers will be able to find a fraction of a number. Welcome to the first part of the video, which will be our one-star challenge. So if you're going to do the three-star challenge today, you can have a watch at the 1 and 2 star to have a little bit of a warm-up, or you can skip on to the 3-star. We have a whole here, so that is our whole bar here. If we wanted to split that in half, okay, if we wanted to find half of that bar, we would need to split it directly in the middle to make sure that our halves are equal, because our success criteria today is to know that two halves must always be equal. So let's have a go at splitting that in half. So if we were to do that, it would look like this. So there would be half here and half here. And we'll just check that they are equal. So we can put them on top of each other to make sure they are the same. Yep, they are equal. So our halves are equal, and we can double check by putting it on top as well. Find that the two halves are equal. If we want to find one half, we would just need one of these. So that is half of this bar, and we can check that by putting it next to it like that. Make sure it is half. So when you are finding half of something, you must make sure that both sides are the same, that they are equal. This is exactly the same if you were using a circle. If you're using a shape and you want to split it in half, you would need to make sure that both of those halves were equal too, so that when you split the shape, you have two equal halves. And we can check that by making sure that they are the same when they go on top of each other. And they are the same, so they are equal halves, so that means it is a half. So if you were going to show somebody half of the circle, you would shade in half and you would make sure that the sides are equal. So this is exactly the same as this to make sure that it is an equal half. So you know that two halves must be equal. This works exactly the same if you've got a number. If you wanted to find half of a number, so if you wanted to find half of 4, you would also need to make sure that it was equal. Your half was equal. So we can show that by using the blocks. So we have 4 blocks here. So make sure they're equal. So we'd put this way, this way, this way, and this way, to make sure that when we share these out, make half, so 2 sets, because we need to find 2. We know that they're equal. We have 2 in each side. So half of 4 is 2. And the numbers are both the same, 2 and 2 on each side. So we just found out that half of 4 is 2 by sharing out the number and making sure we had equal number on each side. Another way to do it, if you know how to your 2 times table, is to divide by 2. Now the bottom number is, remember, it's the denominator, and the denominator always tells us what we need to, how many we need to find. So in order to find the different parts, we need to divide that number by the numbers on the bottom. So if you know what 4 divided by 2 is, then that's an easy way to do it as well. So if we are going to go count up in 2s till we get to 4, 2, 4, we know that 4 divided by 2 is 2. That leads us to our task today for the one-star challenges. In order to be able to tell me that you know that two halves must be equal, I've made you up a little sheet here. Now you can pause this now and you can copy down the sheet so you can answer the questions, but I will also upload it onto your assignment today so you can print it off if you want to. So the question 1 says which ones show half shaded. So this one here is exactly half. That is the same amount shaded as that. So you would say this one shows half shaded. Now have a look at the other ones and I want you to see if it is exactly half. Now, question 2, shade these shapes in half. So this time I want you to get your colouring pen or your pencil and shade in half to show me equal halves. And draw some pictures of your own and shade in half. So then I'd like you to draw some of your own shapes or your own pictures. It can be shapes or pictures, and make sure that you have shaded in half. So the 2-star challenges today, you are showing half, a quarter with pictures, symbols and words. I'm going to do a quick recap because today's 2-star challenges, it's more of a recap today before we move on to the next thing. So I would like you to have a look at this block, and before I show you, I want to think about how you can split that into half. So pause it now and have a go at think about how you split it exactly in half. Think about what we just learned with the 1-star, it's got to be equal. So just pause it now. Okay, so you should have done it a bit like this. So it should be in 2 halves like that, exactly in half. So that shows us split it in half to 2 equal parts. Now for a quarter, you need to split it into how many parts? Yep, into 4 parts, because at the bottom, our denominator, that's how many we're dividing it by. Dividing it by 4, so it's going to 4 equal parts. So we'll move these out the way. You should know how to get into 4 parts. Aha, and here we have it into 4 parts. So we have it into 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, just like how halves have to be equal, quarters have to be equal too. So these are all the same size. Now that is the same for any fraction. If you're going to split it into any fraction, just the same as if you were dividing a number, it's exactly the same. All needs to be equal. They all need to be the same size. So let's put them on top to see us dividing it by 4 to make sure that they all fit properly. And they fit spot on because they are all equal. So here we have our blocks showing a whole, halves and quarters. So today we're having a check to see if you can show half a quarter with pictures, symbols and words. So if we were using a picture, we could use blocks to show half. Okay, you could use a block hole, so using your rectangle. You could do it with a circle to show half like this and shade in half. Or you could use a circle and show a quarter and only shade in the quarter. So that's how you'd show it with pictures. Now our symbols are our actual fraction symbols. So that's half and that's quarter. Having the numerator on top and the denominator at the bottom. So again, the denominator is what we are splitting it into. So we're splitting it into half. It's in 2 bits. So we have shown half in a picture, half in the symbols, and now we show it in words. So half is ha, a, o, f. Half and quarter is qu, a, t, e, quarter. So these are the different ways that you could record that you know what half is and what a quarter is. So here we have all the different ways that you can record what half is and what a quarter is. So 2-star challenges, your task today is to make a poster to show me that you know what half and quarter looks like as words, pictures and symbols. So I've done a little mini poster here. So you could do something a bit similar to this if you want, and you can show me some examples. Look forward to seeing them. Well done. 3-star challenges, you are trying to find a fraction of a number today. So we have been looking at fractions of shapes and fractions of pictures and fractions by shading. And today we're going to work out how to do it with numbers. Okay, 3-star challenges, you are trying to find a fraction of a number. So in front of me here, I have written down half of 6. So we need to find out what half of 6 is. Now we would work that out by looking to see how many parts we need to split 6 into. So we look at the bottom of our fraction for that. So we need to do 6 split into 2 parts. Now one way of doing that is doing 6 divided by 2. So if we were going to split this 6 into 2, I can show you using these just now. So we would do it this way. and make sure that we have an equal amount on each side. So let's check, see if we've got an equal amount on each side. We have got 3 on this side and 3 on that side. So we know that half of 6 equals 3. So the sum we have done here is we have done 6 divided by 2, which has given us 3. So we can double check that by counting up in 2s. So 2, 4, 6, and that's given us 3, hasn't it? To double check, so that's 3. And we have 3 in each side. Perfect job. So let's do another practice. Now you might already be able to do this. If you can, pause it now and give it a go. If not, let's have a try of it together. So we'll do 8 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're in half. We're trying to put it into half. So let's draw 2 circles to put our dots into half. And we'll put this one in here. 1. This one in here. This one in here. Cross it off once you've done it so you don't get confused. That one into here. That one into here. This one goes into here. That one into there. And this one into here. So we've shared them all out equally into 2 because it's 2's at the bottom of our fraction. And we have got 1, 2, 3, 4 in each. Now make sure they're equal. Yep, 4 in there and 4 in there. So half of 8 is 4. Now if you don't need to do the dots or have anything physical to move around, you can just do it this way. So you know that you've got 8 and that's what you need to find half of. You can just do 8, have a look at what's on the bottom. This is the number that we're dividing it by. This is the number we're splitting it into. So dividing and splitting it into is the same thing. Dividing by 2 equals, and that also equals 4. Now you can double check that by doing your 2 times table, cutting up in 2's to check. So 2, 4, 6, 8. We've got 4. Okay, so that gives you 4. So this time we have got a quarter of 8. So we need to have a think about what we will be dividing it by. Okay, so what are we splitting it into today? Have a think and have a pause if you need to. And that's right, we'll look at the bottom, so look at the denominator of the fraction, and it's 4. So we're splitting it into 4. So we need 4 circles. 2, 3, 4. Again, if you know your 4 times table, you can just divide 8 by 4 because we know that we look at the bottom of the fraction to find out what we're dividing by. And we are dividing by 4, so we need to do 8 divided by 4. That also gives us 2. So remember, again, when you're looking at a fraction, it's the bottom number, the denominator, is what we are splitting it into. So that's the number we divide by. So let's count up in 4s just to double check in case we need to. So that is 4, 8. And we count up in 4s twice, so that is 2. Here is your worksheet today, so you can pause this now if you want to have a go at the worksheet. I'm going to go through a couple of the questions with you, just so you've had a little go at them before you start off on your own. So in the first question, you are finding half. So if you're finding half, you need to look at the bottom of the fraction. So look at the denominator. What's the number? Yep, number 2. So you need to divide by 2 because you are splitting it into 2 parts. You're finding half. Let's have a look at the second question. This time we are finding a fifth. Okay, we are finding a fifth. So look at the bottom of the fraction of a fifth. And what number do we have? So we're looking at the denominator, and the denominator is a 5. So we are dividing by 6. No, we're not, are we? We're not dividing by 6. Well noticed. We are dividing by 5. Got to keep an eye because sometimes I will have a wee trick with you. And on to the third and final question. You need to find 1/10. So 1/10 looks like this, which we know already. And the bottom number, our denominator, is a 10. So we are dividing by 10. Now I know you can all count up in tens, so that should help you with dividing.